Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody. Super welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. I thank y'all for tuning us in, turning us on. We have a great show. Mychael Shane is in the house. Mychael Shane of the Ascension Foundation, Spirit Attachment. That's what we're talking about today. You know, there are all kinds of unexplained phenomena happening inside our bodies, such as, and they really are, you can't explain them sometimes. And I'm talking about anger, sadness, physical pain. You know, do you have moments where you feel like you're out of control? I mean, you're driving down the street and you don't remember how you got from one place to the next. Well, these kinds of things happen every day. Actually, the first half of my life pretty much was like that. Some of us decide to see a doctor, but, you know, we get medication for that or, you know, we get some other kind of help, you know, but what is the possibility about the fluctuation of these mood changes, these physical discomforts? Where do they come from? What do you think that, you know, might be attached? What do you see going on in our bodies? And I will tell you this, this is an interesting conversation, and it's a conversation that has hit our pop culture. There's a television show, I think it was on last night, and I think it's called Body of Proof. And not this week, I think last week, if I'm remembering, a friend of mine told me to go back and watch the on-demand. Last week, they had a very interesting episode. And there was this dance that went on between the doctor that was in charge of autopsies and a bunch of other things, who is purely a scientist. And whether or not she believed that a body could be possessed or that a body, you know, could have an entity. And it was a very interesting show. And, you know, I'm going to leave how the show turned out, you know, up to you guys. But the bottom line with all of this is that each and every one of us has things that go on in our lives that we can't explain. You know, do we have spirits that are with us all the time? Now, for most of you on the show, you know that we have had on-air readings with Mychael, which we will do today. We have had people like the Angel Lady on the show, and you guys call in for her because there's something you believe in. But a lot of times what we believe that the things that are going on in our lives are a result of some phenomenon that's unexplained. But what if there was an explanation? You know, what if there was something going on that is trying to get our attention? You know, what is it about our pop culture that would have us believe that every time we have this spiritual interaction, that it's demonic or bad? You know, what is it about our lives that we want to believe or not believe? Mychael Shane joining us here today, a transphysical phenomena medium. But more importantly, those guys that saw Mychael at the Northwest Women's Show, yeah, you got to see what he does. He's joining us here today. He's also the host of the Mychael Shane Show. And we're going to be talking about spirit attachment and much more. You know, so there is a mystery that goes on. Mychael, welcome to the show. It's great to have you here.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Okay, so before we jump into this, Northwest Women's Show. How was that for you? That was wild.
That was really interesting. I'm not used to doing events in uncontrolled environments.
No kidding. That was so uncontrolled, too.
You know, I mean, people wandering down the stairs.
Right. We were by the stairs.
You know, there was a kind of a boardwalk into another room above me. And normally I don't like anyone being able to look down into the cabinet.
Right. I forgot about that.
Because if they see what's really going on, it's you're going to lose these people because the energy is so unusual that the mind isn't grasping a hold of what's going on.
I know. I made the mistake of standing too close to the booth.
Did you hear the
this
bones?
Time. Personally, I never stand that close. But because I was on the mic, you know, and I don't think I've ever been that close to the booth when you've been in it.
No, you haven't.
I can't remember that. Even when I was taking the tape off you in those times and doing that, I wasn't sitting or standing. And it was interesting, the feeling of that afterwards. But I didn't think about that. I didn't think that people could actually watch you from up above. I had forgot about that.
They wouldn't really have known what they were looking at, but it would have been something that they would have been thinking about for the rest of their lives.
The people that saw this for the first time, that saw, your gifts and talents for the first time, I heard words like miracle. One woman said to me, she said, I think I just saw a miracle. I want to take a minute before we talk about this for you to tell people, what your gift is, because I think it's going to be related to the topic today. And I think we have to make some distinctions about, what your gift is, what you do in the world. But the bottom line, it's all about healing, isn't it?
Yeah, we could call myself a transphysical phenomena medium. You could say a spiritual visionary. You could say a clairvoyant. The truth of the matter is, what all these modalities are, in definition, is healing. Because we have the ability to see things that are going on that most mainstream situations do not see. Some other ulterior possibility of what's happening to the individual, why all of a sudden, for someone that never smoked a day in their life, dies of lung cancer. You see? And so there's answers to that. Or what is silent crib death syndrome? I see a energy that I believe explains it. And there's a lot of things. I mean, if you ever walk down the road or go to work and all of a sudden you just don't feel you.
Yeah.
You got this urge to light up a cigarette and you're not a smoker, or you want to pull over to the local bar and have a drink, but that you haven't done that since you were a teenager.
Right.
It's unique to be able to see these things because in my life it answered a lot of questions for me, and that's where it begins. I did a study one time on psychiatrists and why they go into that field, and most of them said was to find out what was wrong with themselves.
Right.
And then they also said they only use 5% of what they.
I'm a perfect example, though. I'm not a psychiatrist, but I have a PhD in psychology, right? Why? Why was that the field that actually chose me? Well, I ended up studying over a period of time that which I thought was not going to be a phenomenon in the world the way it is now. By the time I was done with my PhD, I knew it would be. And that is, promises that corporations make to people that they don't keep anymore. And I went on to study that. And I actually went on to study broken promises and what that means. And why did I do that? Well, my own personal experience after 25 years in a corporation, I thought I was alone. I thought we were in an isolated situation. And I think back in 1991, we pretty much were the first out of the gate. A lot of people were watching the phone company to see, are these people going to be able to just completely unload thousands of people? And then it caught on. And so I think you're right. I think we go out after some things in search of a phenomenon that we don't understand in the world, right?
Well, and I'm in no way downplaying mainstream religion, but up to a certain point, sometimes you're not able to find any more of the answers that you're looking for, or in scientific belief. There has to be a common ground. And I believe if you put all of those modalities together and you mix it up in a bowl, you may find some answers. But you got to throw a little bit of the metaphysical in there too. Otherwise, you're going to still miss the gate on the points of what's going on out there. On the way to work today, or this isn't work. On the way to the radio show today.
Yeah, we could call it work. Yeah.
I was at a stoplight, and there was this woman yelling at her husband or boyfriend or whatever
in the car,
car next to me. And I could see that she's been holding on to a lot of anger in her life, and she's using that releasement to let it go, even though most of the stuff she probably was saying had nothing to do with the guy that was sitting next to her. You know, it's that energy that we hold on to. So I can see the energy. Sometimes I can even see the experience that's causing that energy or a past life. And of course, with the Ascended Masters, they help me understand more of what it is that I'm seeing. Because I'm not the dictionary here. I have to get help to get some explanations of why so and so is having this particular problem. Most of the time, it's right there, and it's usually attached to anger, guilt, fear, and sadness. However, is it your anger, guilt, fear, sadness?
You know, this is a really interesting question. We do a lot of interviews with our access consciousness people, and one of the things they ask is that question: is it really yours? Well, if it's not mine, then whose does it belong to? We're going to take a short break. I know you people, listen to this. I've been down the road you're thinking right now. Yeah, whose is it? Who do we want to point the finger at or not? You know, what if the answer was something you hadn't heard quite before? Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the Dr. Pat Show. We're going to open up the phone lines in a minute. We've got some really cool things to announce, some special offers, and we're going to be having you guys come on, do a reading with Mychael. Stay tuned. We'll be right back with the show.
Beloved Ascended Master Saint Germain, through the trance-mediumship of Mychael Shane, is offering a one-time series of transformative healing sessions to help you let go and be who you truly are. Experience 2 crystal light energy healings and 1 past life regression with Mychael for $125, a savings of $215. This offer is available to the first 20 callers who schedule their session. Be one of the first. Call now, 1-800-508-6437, 1-800-508-6437. Schedule your session and visit MychaelShane.com.
Are you feeling stuck? Do you want to be free from fears and doubts and finally feel good about yourself, but you just don't know how to get there? Dr. Schaub's Accelerated Breakthrough Program provides you with the tools and solutions to go beyond your limitations and achieve self-empowered confidence. Call for your free phone consultation at 866-903-MIND. Visit cellularwisdom.com. That's cellularwisdom.com.
Tune in each Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern for the hit show Out of the Fog with Karen Hager, the Fog City Psychic. Spark your spirit and ignite your soul with spiritual conversation and enlightening guests that will help you get clear and catapult you into action. You'll meet metaphysical movers and shakers, intuitives, spiritual visionaries, and more. Want an on-air reading? Karen's down-to-earth style and lively curiosity delivers the compassionate, no-nonsense, intuitive advice that's become her trademark. Visit fogcitypsychic.com and book your reading today.
Are you struggling through difficult times? During these times of change, many of us need tools and support to help us get through. Julie Kleinhans is the host of the hit radio show Teaching from the Heart with Julie Kay and is a world-renowned life coach. Many of us are worrying about what will happen to our jobs, our homes, and to our lives. This is why Julie is offering a 40% discount through January 31st of 2013 to support you and your family through these difficult times. She'll teach you how to use energy tools that will help you relieve the stress and anxiety in your life. Julie is donating the net proceeds to victims of Superstorm Sandy through the organization All Hands Volunteers, a U.S.-based nonprofit dedicated to empowering disaster relief volunteers and rebuilding communities. Please call Julie at 516-639-8042. 516-639-8042 or email Julie at mindfocusgeneration.com for more details and to schedule a session.
Would you like to discover and bring forward your inner divine feminine and emerge rebirthed, rejuvenated and regenerated, restored to your original 5-body blueprint? Join me, Patricia Iris Cairns, author and expert on the divine feminine, March 22nd and 23rd in Baltimore, Maryland, to birth this beautiful energy into your life. Register now. info@patriciairiscairns.com. That's info@patriciairiscairns.com.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. Mychael Shane is in the house. For those of you out there, we're going to open up the phone lines. If you would like to call in for a live on-air reading, if you want to call and comment, if you're at the Northwest Women's Show, please go ahead and do that. We have toll-free, 1-800-930-2819. Toll-free, 1-800-930-2819. We'll take your calls. Before we jump ahead, I'd like to talk a little bit about the special offer that you have for our listeners today. I understand that, for people that are looking for a new direction, you're going to be offering 30-minute readings with Mychael. And I believe you have a special price for that, right? A special price of $40. Is that correct, Cheryl?
Yes, that's correct. I thought that just went very well with the show topic today.
It's great. Mm-hmm. So this is actually unheard of. It's a half-hour reading with Mychael.
Exactly.
Wow.
And
for $40?
For $40. And you can do it over the phone or in person. So
it's great.
It's an opportunity open to everyone.
Yeah. So for those of you out there, two things are happening right now. We've opened up the phone line so you can have a live on-air reading with Mychael. Our toll-free number for that is 1-800-930-2819. If you would like to schedule a reading with Mychael, at your a full, complete 30-minute reading with Mychael, you could go to mychaelshane.com, which is the website, and that's MYCHAEL Shane.com. Or go to 800-50 or call 800-508-6437 to schedule a call or to get more information. Now, to have a reading right now on the show, all you need to do is pick up the phone, 1-800-930-2819. Let's talk about spirit attachment. That's what we're talking about today. I think it's a really important topic. A lot of times our pop culture or movies, theater, radio, whatever you want to call it, we have put some messages about this in the minds of people. And a lot of the films coming out today as well are really visible about entities or bodies. I mean, I just quoted like the Body Approved TV show, right, where her faith about science is questioned,
right,
because of what she sees, and yet some of the most popular conversations that people have are on entities or devils or, I mean, my God, The Omen. How many times has that movie been done over and over and over again? Right. And I remember seeing that for the first time, scared the bejesus out of me in a lot of ways. I mean, it was just, it was a crazy, scary film. What is it about spirit attachment that we should know? What is true and what is false?
Well, relative to the site that I've seen these entities, it's simple. I mean, we're all part of the whole. Okay, we're all created by God. Therefore, within that vibration and in the metaphysical arena, or spirit, heaven, whatever you want to coin it to be, we're connected. Okay, so if we're connected to that level, then we have the ability to be like a revolving door. Like sometimes I feel that myself about me when the masters are coming and going all the time. A spirit can attach depending on the vibration of an individual to that area of trauma. Or if it's something positive, for instance, just maybe some spirit wants to just hang out with you for a day. And you're going to feel the feelings and emotions of that spirit. So if you were going through a breakup in a relationship, and there's a spirit around you that it just had that experience prior to their demise, they're going to attach to that familiar energy because it's familiar to them. It's something that they just experienced on their own in their physical life. Okay? And keep in mind, they could have passed away 20 years ago, and they feel like it just happened because there is no time and space and spirit. Doesn't apply. So if you're having this breakup and you're feeling this sadness and anger towards it, and that's what they're going to attach to, and they move right in with all of their baggage, next thing you know, your crankiness about being in this broke-up relationship intensifies by 100-fold, and you don't know where it's coming from. And people say, what is wrong with you? You see? You experienced that?
Linda, you listening to the show? Yes, I have. I mean, I honestly, and we joke about it to each other. You know, it's interesting that we're talking about this. I have a friend who has a birthday, and she's a genealogy expert, that, ancestry. I don't know much about my family, but, now that everybody's online, you can actually go online. And I was shocked about what I found out about my family. But I had a really interesting moment. And I had known more information about my dad's side, but I really hadn't looked at my mom's side. And as I was doing this research, I was able to kind of put this family thing together. But here's what happened to me. I'm sitting there, and this had to be like at 2 o'clock in the morning. This morning. I was sitting there and I was doing this because we had some technical upgrades we're doing. And so in the meantime, I was doing this here. Now, I have been pretty much gluten-free for about 6 years. I don't usually think about spaghetti. I don't think about meatballs. I don't think about that because you know what? I'm just not going to do rice pasta. I'm just not, because I grew up with my grandmother's spaghetti and meatballs.
Right.
And all of a sudden I'm sitting there as I'm doing this, and it was as if I just had a bowl of the spaghetti and the meatballs and the garlic and the sauce. I mean, I could taste it.
That's not unusual.
Well, I mean, it was a little strange for me, but I get it, right?
Or you could smell like booze and you hadn't even had a drink.
That's right. I didn't go. That would have been my grandfather I would have had to focus on. Then we would have had the sweet smell of Zambuca and espresso. All of us kids grew up with that. But this is the kind of stuff that shows up in our lives, and we kind of blow it off, in a sense. Is it because we're afraid of it, Michael? Or is it because we don't live in that world, or we don't want to think about it? I mean,
there's not
what
enough
is
education.
It? Okay.
You don't. It doesn't fit in your normal psyche, so you just shove it aside, giving it no more than two thoughts. Okay? Wow, that's interesting, and I don't relate to that, and then you push it away. But kind of to give you another example, a number of years ago, I worked with a lady who was having a hard time with her relationship with her husband, and they had been married for 5 years, and they were having a hard time having a child. Turned out that all of the deceased family integrated into her after their passing, still holding on to the argument, still fighting with one another. She had a whole bunch of entities from her family within her spirit arguing with one another. Her sister, who was killed in a car accident, did not like her husband. So every time her husband wanted to get into the baby-making mode, she would always push him away and didn't want nothing to do with it. And that went on for almost a year. But she really wanted to have a child. Mm-hmm. So you can kind of imagine what kind of quandary was occurring there. And so she came to see me through a recommendation from a friend of hers, and we got all these entities out, put them into the light, and within 3 months, she was pregnant with a baby girl.
Wow.
You know,
wow.
and I'm not going to say anything other than she was the one that created that. She was the one that allowed herself to heal, to let these entities go. Because if you really have a close connection to one of your deceased family or friend, it's really hard to let them go.
No kidding. I mean, it is. It is in a lot of ways. I think, for people that really experience this, I mean, the pain of losing someone that you've become very close to. I'm not just talking about, a mom or a dad. I mean, in my case, my mother died when I was 7, but I didn't really know my mom, but I did know her. I mean, my memories of her are really clear. And so there was a pain of sorts from that. But that, I think, is really different than, which I didn't have the experience of because my stepmom died pretty young, and my sister did as well. I actually thought I was cursed. All the women in my family were dying around me, and I was like, whoa, there's something going on here. But I know people, that have long relationships with their parents, and in some cases care for them in their later years. And there's such a beauty to that. And sometimes you wonder, is that spirit still with me? Am I allowed to grieve now from this? How can I talk to them? I want to talk about that when we come back.
Okay.
What can we learn from the spirits that are around us? Are they just hovering because they have nothing else to do, Michael?
No.
Or is there a message for all of us? Let's take a short break. We'll be right back with the show.
Join Deborah Diane's live clearing teleconferences to move through blockages with this extremely efficient modality that allows for simultaneous clearing for everyone in the group without having to discuss details or engage in processing. Deborah intuitively facilitates these sessions in a fast-paced and fun environment, so every call is unique to that particular group. You'll be amazed at the amount and depth of clearing benefiting everyone on the call. To register for a teleconference, go to consciousrepatterning.com and click on the Register tab to reserve your space in the next call.
Tune in to The Michelle Bond Show. Awaken to a new reality. Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. This call-in show with Vedic astrologer, expert, and holistic health practitioner Michelle Bond will give you insight to a wide range of topics. This hit show provides healthy, empowering knowledge and information and restores your health and well-being through learning the latest complementary and alternative medicine modalities. Visit themichellebondshow.com.
Are you frustrated by what's happening for you around sex and relationships? Do you long for something different without knowing how to create it? Susan Lazar-Hart of Right Relationship for You provides a fresh point of view and practical tools in a light, fun, funny, irreverent, and ultimately life-changing way. Get ready for a new possibility. Visit us at rightrelationshipforyou.com. That's rightrelationshipforyou.com. Tune into Intuit University, compassionate guidance, connecting you to your inner wisdom with internationally renowned psychic and medium Sherry Dillard, each Thursday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern. Get ready for an hour of practical spirituality, fun, and a magic carpet ride into the spirit realm. This hit show is a combination of call-in readings and intuitive mentoring, as Sherry supports, inspires, and empowers you to create your highest good in relationships, career, finances, life purpose, spirituality, and more. For more information, visit SherryDillard.com.
Tune in to Peace World Radio, vibrant conversations to change the world with Christina Jans, each second Monday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern Time on TransformationTalkRadio.com and KKNW. This hit show is energetic, vibrant, and an engaging forum that's getting people talking. Christina brings you extraordinary and courageous people, bold in thought and action, who dare to dream that things can be different. Peace World Radio. Join the talk. The world is having.
Have you ever considered what money and sex have in common? Brenda St. Louis, founder of Know That You Know, explores the energies of debt, money, sex, and our bodies. In her 4-week intensive Debt into Delight, Getting Intimate with Your Digits, she tickles all those places we don't want to look at, infusing everything with exuberance. Would you be willing to have more money? Would you be willing to have more of you? Explore more of Brenda St. Louis at knowthatyouKnow.com.
Everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. Mychael Shane is in the house. And before we go ahead, I want to make a couple of announcements for those of you out there. We have opened up the phone lines, 1-800-930-2819. And if you want to call in, join us on air for a reading, that would be great. Mychael also has a special deal for everybody out there. And that is a show price for all of you listening to the show. That is a 30-minute reading. Honestly, this is such a pay it forward. This is such a giveaway for you guys. 30-minute reading for $40. And so you just need to call the Ascension Foundation or Mychael Shane's office at 1-800-508-6437. 1-800-508-6437. That is to tell them that you heard about the 30-minute session and you would love to have one. That is for a limited engagement here of $40. That's really unheard of for this kind of thing. It's amazing. But that's how Mychael rolls. For those of you that would love to call into the show and have an on-air reading or comment, please do so. 1-800-930-2819. We're talking about spirit and spirit attachment, what it is and what it's not. You know, how much, Mychael, do you think our pop culture influences our beliefs? And the reason I bring this up because I often have this dilemma that goes on in my mind. You know, I talk about our pop culture a lot. Actually, some people say we don't even understand, you know, what your platform is. You know, you talk about the Kardashians in the same, and in the same breath, you'll talk about Wayne Dyer. That's because they're part of our pop culture. They're part of our culture. But sometimes I wonder about how things work. It's a chicken and an egg question. Do we come up with a concept in our pop culture because it's relevant to an age? Or are we remembering ancient, or are we being given information about something that may have happened? The movie Avatar is a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
Was that James Cameron's idea? I mean, you have to think. Or does James Cameron, is this a guy that gets these downloads?
Well, I've asked the question, and I've done lectures on this one thought, and that is, are you in control of your own mind?
No, I know I'm not.
Okay.
I know I'm not.
Some people do raise their hands, and then you ask them, okay, don't think about monkeys. Well, they start seeing all kinds of different monkeys, you know, running around. But the thing is, we already have a script prior to coming into this lifetime. Or any lifetime, okay? We also have cellular memories that reminds us of the experiences that we've had from our past. There's even a cellular memory that's connected to our future, okay? So the pop culture, yes, it's stimulating these memories and the communication that's coming from spirit about what kind of vibration or modality that we are interested in. You know, like right now, we're so into the reality show because it connects to everybody else's stuff, which makes you feel a little bit more normal. Okay? In truth, Saint Germain suggests that we not worry about what everybody else is going through. We should focus on our own stuff and move on from there.
Mm-hmm.
Which goes to the issue of spirit attachment, residues, anger, guilt, fear, sadness. Who am I? Who are you? You see, who is Dr. Pat? Who is Michael Shane? Who is Cheryl? Who are these people that we live next door to? Who are these people that are in our family? Who's that funny-looking lady that always pinches my cheek every time she sees me? My aunt is who
That's
I'm
my
talking
grandma. That's my grandma. Oh, my God. What is up with that pinching thing?
Yeah.
Ow.
And it hurts.
The women pinch. The men take their whiskers and rub it on your face.
Yeah.
There you go.
my grandmother used to do the licking with her tongue, the wash thing, and wipe your face with it.
Oh, right. Yes, that's right.
I hated that. So, but the truth is, there is something else going on right now in that has to do with what's out there. We're having an uncontrollable urge to heal and to resolve, more so today in this part of our culture, our history, than we ever before.
Yeah. Yeah, we are. And, and I say we, there's a big collective we.
Correct.
Right now. And what I mean by that, by a collective we, I'm talking about a whole bunch of people. I talked about this during the last show about what does it mean to write a book? How do you go about it? I had a great, just an incredible publisher on the show talking about that, why that's important to have a voice or to give voice what you have to say. And I think sometimes, for me, I've gotten into trouble when I hear the message and then I stop to think about it. Now, what I've learned is when you hear the message, then you need to take action on the message. You don't need to think about the message anymore. So when I'm in that flow, I know what to do. The difficulty with that, and I shared this during a talk that I did on Saturday at the Northwest Women's Show, people around you cannot figure you out. Why are you setting up another website? And so I used to try to explain myself as, I know you have all your life. Now I just say, you know what? I just heard the voice and I'm going to do it. And it's like, okay. And you want, if you want to, debate that, talk to the voice. Like that expression, talk to the hand, talk to the voice.
Right. And that's that voice, that inner voice, I believe in some parts it's our higher self.
Right.
But I also believe that's God.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's our family that's in the spirit world. I believe that the communication continues whether or not we're in the physical or the etherical.
Right.
And that the biggest message that's there is heal. Do not hold on to this stuff anymore because it doesn't do us any good. It's not conducive to our life force. Okay? It makes us do things that we would normally not do.
Mm-hmm.
You see? And when I utilize the gift that I was given to help people connect to these attachments or whatever else that may be going on, is I actually introduce them to it. I allow them to see for themselves what it is. It's not just me saying, well, there's this, and this, taking a few notes. You'll find it's very rare that I'll take a note, you see.
Mm-hmm.
You take them into it and they see it themselves.
Right.
And sure, they're going to need a few days to process that. But when they come back for their next session, they're really ready to go because they relate to what they saw. They can't deny the truth.
Mm-hmm.
And the truth is stranger than any fiction.
Well, and I think that's the realization I think that we're all having. What is it that we're learning? Where do ideas come from? What is it that we could learn from a guy like Einstein that people, don't really talk about? But before we do that, I think we've got a couple of callers on the phone. It would be really great to go to the phone. Mr. Benny, who do we have?
Noreen from Redmond's going to start things off.
Hi, Noreen. Welcome to the show.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you for taking my call. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. What can I do for you today?
Well, I'm in a situation with my step-grandson that he has been a heroin addict. He's been clean for about 6 months, and he's coming down off of, We've invited him to stay in our home for a short period of time until things get together. But as time goes on, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. I'm not sure that this is the best for him and for us. And I just wonder what you see, what you're getting from this.
Well, this is an area I'm very close to. First off, this individual needs some structure, some love, and some rules to follow. The rules, the structure, and the love is what you need to create. And you do so with communication of the individual, the person, your step-grandson. Okay? And then you got to realize this isn't going to be easy. I mean, it's going to turn your house upside down.
Yeah.
Okay. But what's more important? Love, strengthening the individual by giving him love, or passing him on down the road where he ends up believing that no one wants him.
Exactly.
Okay? So it's just a choice that you have to make. And I'm picking up you have a mate.
My son is also in the house.
Okay. I wouldn't too much worry about him. Okay?
Okay.
But he should have a voice in this situation as well.
Right.
But what I'm trying to tell you here, and here's what Saint Germain is saying: open your heart up to loving this individual, even if it's tough to do so. Show him that the world is not filled with people that will discard him. Show this individual that you are interested in what they have to say, even if what they say is ludicrous. Mm. Just let them get it out, and then help them with that. And obviously, some help, counseling, and that 12-step program does work.
Yeah, he's got some counseling lined up, so he's working on that himself. Our biggest, it seems, the biggest problem is communication and getting. He wants to talk a lot, and trying to get him to listen has been extremely difficult.
Well, that's the nervous system and fear creating a lot of energy.
Right. And, Noreen, can I jump in?
You bet.
All right. So I know a lot about this topic myself. One of the things you might be you're being asked to do something. He may not know how to listen. So you may have to model it for him. And one of the greatest things ever written about listening was by Stephen Covey, when he talked about the, 7 habits of highly effective people. One of the things he said I never forgot, he said, we don't really listen. We are waiting to talk. He said, all of us need to learn how to listen by understanding. And that may be something you have to do and model for him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it absolutely does in a lot of ways. Especially if one doesn't know how to say, I'm feeling scared, or I'm feeling lost. I don't know what my future is going to be, or this is a huge change for me.
Yeah, and I'm sure he is totally scared.
Right. Right. So there are a couple books out there that are really good. There was a book by Orville Hendricks about communication that saved my life on how to listen. That may be something you want to pick up a few tools with. And it's hard because people are so close to you, and we just want to fix them. Come on, right?
Yeah,
am I telling the truth now?
No, and the other thing is it's going to take time. I know that, and we want it to happen right now.
No kidding. Actually, we want it to happen like yesterday.
Well, that too, yeah.
Yeah. Now it's like too late. But just be patient, and if you can model, this listening and understanding behavior, get yourself some tools. That's the best way you're going to be able to guide him.
Okay.
And I'm being guided also to say this to you.
Okay.
I understand you're in the Redmond area.
Yes.
What I would be willing to offer here, because there's a possibility that there also might be an attachment there that's controlling some of this addictive behavior. Okay.
Well, that's kind of what I was wondering.
And I'm not going to be able to tell that over the airwaves. So what I will offer is a 30-minute scanning and assessment free of charge.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Mychael.
Great.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Would you call the 800 number for that and make sure, Noreen, that Cheryl, you have Noreen's. You'll be able to make a.
I will.
All right, give out that number, would you, for Noreen to call in the listeners?
Oh, it's 1-800-647. I just drew it.
It's the 800 number, right?
Yeah.
1-800-508-6437. 1-800-508-6437. Okay. Let's take a really short break. We'll be right back. We'll go to the phones again. For those of you out there that are watching the Pope and the white smoke, that's what's going on. They have decided on a new Pope. I just got that instant message about a half hour ago. And so folks are waiting for the new Pope to come out in the red drape.
Do they know who it is?
Fascinating. They know who it is, and the world will know shortly. We'll take a short break, everyone. We'll be right back with the show.
Tune in each Tuesday at 12 Pacific, 3 Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com for Quantum Techniques Talk Radio. Bring healing to chaos. This hit show will empower you to take charge of your own healing and take back your life. You'll be reminded of your innate connection to the divine through the teachings of world-renowned healing practitioners who'll provide the tools necessary to discover how to heal yourself and others. Did you know you can even prevent disease? Absolutely. Get ready to invoke the miracle of self-healing physical or non-physical causes of stress, pain, and illness. Discover toxins, pathogens, structural issues, trauma, emotions, relationships, generational issues, spiritual problems, and wrong beliefs blocking you from living a phenomenal life. Break free from the chaos and take charge of your own healing. Visit quantumtechniques.com for more information.
Saskia Roel, the international soul guide who has followed her soul from Hong Kong and Africa to America. Saskia cracks open the lives of her clients and brings their soul's purpose to life. Are you stuck in a life that doesn't work? Go to yoursoulguidance.com for your 21-day roadmap to the life you secretly dream about, absolutely free. Discover surprising truths about your soulmate, talents, blocks, and more. Now is the time. Go to yoursoulguidance.com.
Beloved Ascended Master Saint Germain, through the trance mediumship of Mychael Shane, is offering a one-time series of transformative healing sessions to help you let go and be who you truly are. Experience 2 crystal light energy healings and 1 past life regression with Mychael for $125, a savings of $215. This offer is available to the first 20 callers who schedule their session. Be one of the first. Call now, 1-800-508-6437, 1-800-508-6437. Schedule your session and visit MychaelShane.com.
Tune in each Wednesday at noon Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern on TransformationTalkRadio.com to Inspired Action Radio with Jennifer B. Mastering the art of dream building in the real world. This hit show will inspire you to start painting the canvas of your life and bring your unique spirit and your amazingly intelligent mind together to find an incredible, practical, real-world strategy to building a life with epic results. Tune in to Inspired Action Radio with Jennifer B.
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
everybody, welcome back. Welcome back to the Dr. Pat Show. This is Talk Radio to Thrive By. Michael Shane is in the house, and as I've said to you guys before, make sure you find out or connect with Cheryl about the special offer, a half-hour session for $40. That's actually unheard of. So thank you, Michael, for doing that. I think we should go to the phones real quick. We've got another caller calling in. Mr. Benny?
Jackie from Seattle's holding tight.
Hi, Jackie. Welcome to the show. How can we help you today?
Hi. Thank you for all of your wonderful love.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm gonna start speaking what I'm needing. Okay, so oh, sorry, it's gonna make me cry.
That's all right.
The first female wolf that was murdered for the self-interest of cattle and ranchers. That's the Wedgwood Pack here in Washington, which tens of thousands of Washingtonians had said, no, don't kill our wolves. Anyway, she came to me, and it was like a meditation kind of hypnosis state, and she came to me and essentially told me that they were hated and told me that one of them was actually poisoned. And as soon as I came out of the meditation, I jumped online, and she was guiding me the whole time. And essentially, I found the empirical verification, if you will, of an article that an interview was done with the rancher that headed this whole situation up. And his words essentially pretty much had spoke to, that he said essentially he wanted every wolf dead for every cattle, which, mind you, they get paid for any dead cattle, which this is all a farce anyway. It's not even true that the wolves are causing this deprivation. Scientists prove this. So anyway, make a long story short, I documented the whole thing. I sent it to the Fish and Wildlife and had been researching it. And sure enough, on the Fish and Wildlife, when I went there, upon her guidance, I found that there was one young dead wolf that they couldn't explain why it died, and it was right there on that ranch, the Diamond M, I think it's called. So anyway, right away, I knew, and there were biologists that found it, that, what she had showed me and told me was the case. And by the way, her name is Layla, which means I love you. And so anyway, since that point, there's been tons of information with Defenders of Wildlife and Center of Biological Diversity actually doing a lot of work trying to, keep them from going extinct right now. And, many others, there's the Good Wolf petitions that are going around.
Right.
So anyway, where I'm stuck is I've got to get a petition out there, and I want to, share her story.
Yeah.
So that people understand this is a being, and she came to me, and I feel like I need to, speak on her behalf and theirs, that I actually feel them walking with me when I walk my dogs.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wanting some healing, so whatever blocks in the way can get out of the way, and I can move forward and, speaking her voice.
Okay. Well, two things. I think, Michael, you go first, and then I've got some information I want to share with you, Jackie.
Well, the first thing you were talking about, you go into kind of a meditative trance state.
Yes.
What I would like you to do next time that you do this is I want you to focus on opening your heart, bringing through a pink and a blue fluidy energy, and it's like laying down in a creek with cool water, and you can feel it moving through your body. Direct that energy through your body, which will give you the strength to deal with this, and then also direct it to the wolves, okay? And then more clarity will occur from this. One thing that Spirit's guided me to tell you is you just opened up the door to your next modality of life, communicating with animals, where a book will come from it. And I feel, from what I'm seeing here, that the outcome of what you're doing now is going to open the eyes of thousands, if not more, people in what's going on out there with animals such as wolves and so forth. Because for some reason, human beings tend to forget what really is going on around us, and that's life. You know, and it's a beautiful thing, and you have an opportunity to open up to that life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, Mychael, I think for today, I think it's really important. You know, Jackie's still listening to the show, and I know we've got to run. Why don't you give out your toll-free number again, so in case Jackie wants to follow up with you and do it? I think this would be great for her to do a session for you.
Sure. It's 1-800-508-6437, and I'll be waiting for your call.
Yeah. And then, Jackie, if you're listening, I interviewed Linda Starwolf the other day, and she would be a really good person for you to connect with. I mean, this is something that Linda's also that Starwolf is passionate about. Thank you, Mychael. Thanks for tuning us in, turning us on. Go to MychaelShane.com. Thank you all for listening. We'll catch you next time on the Dr. Pat Show. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio. Our hosts are setting a new standard for a fresh kind of talk radio, creating conversations that are transforming the world, one listener at a time. Transformation Talk Radio's mission is to broadcast a distinct blend of live talk radio interviews with a mix of uplifting and intelligent news, educational and practical information. Topics range from personal development to critical issues relevant to a rapidly changing world. Stay tuned. Transformation Talk Radio starts at the top of every hour.
Stop. Get out of that car. Stop living your life in the passenger seat. Tune in to TransformationTalkRadio.com and let us help you drive.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that.
Love is officially in the air. Transformation Talk Radio and the Dr. Pat Show is showing you love all year long, not just for Valentine's Day. Dr. Pat, known for her Pay It Forward manifesto, is now joined by the hosts on Transformation Talk Radio. I'm in love, baby, with Transformation Talk Radio. Tune in to TransformationTalkRadio.com. Amazing hosts, incredible guests. Get your groove on. Feel the love, be the love.
Can't get enough of your love, babe. Lord, some things I can't get used to.
There's a great hunger in this world for new lines of thought, because everywhere you look, they say that joy can just be bought. So please come and set aside some time to relax from frenetic. Transform your life. It takes a while, but results are magnetic. We aim to grasp the best in life and track the ways we grew. The how, the why, the what, wherefore, all this we share and do. But every now and then, we hope that you will share right back. Transformation Talk Radio wants you to hop on track. So calling all hosts, tall and small, of every size and hue, there's nobody we'd rather have to tell your tale than you. And if you have a tale to tell of how your life is changing, we'd love to hear you on the line, say how you're rearranging. So run, don't walk, to call us now. We'll set you up and show you how.
Hi, this is Dr. Pat. Join our radio family. Send us an email, host@transformationtalkradio.com, or call 1-800-930-2819. Host your own show. Let us help you bring your voice to the world.